jingle bells, let's do math all day. How much fun it is to do math in all sorts of ways. Hey! Happy Math Day! Every day's a holiday when you get to do math. Am I right? I'm totally right. Okay, today we are doing 6.6. We are going to compare fractions. So, our I can statement is today, I can compare fractions. Okay? All right. Today we are going to talk about one of the most famous elves, and that's Buddy the Elf. So let's see what Buddy the Elf's current problem is and how we can use our knowledge on fractions to help him. Remember, we're comparing fractions today. So the best part is that we're going to take everything we did yesterday and just do one more step. Okay? All right. Buddy the Elf is making his favorite meal. He needs 5/8 gallon of spaghetti. Oh, sorry. So he needs 5/8 gallon of spaghetti and 1/2 gallon of syrup. Yum. Did he use more spaghetti or syrup? So we need to know, is he going to have more spaghetti or more syrup for his thing today? Let's find out. All right. So we have 5/8 spaghetti. And we're going to compare that to his 1.5 gallons of syrup. I'm going to do an S. Oh, they both start with S. We'll do it syrup and SP for spaghetti. Okay, so we can't just compare these because this one is out of 8 and this one is out of half. Or out of 2, excuse me. So the only way we're allowed to compare them is if they have a common denominator, and that's what we learned yesterday. So we need to look at their denominators, 8 and 2, and we need to give them a common one. So we learned this yesterday. There's 3 things we can pretty much do. We can list out their multiples. We could times them together. That would be kind of a big number, but that's fine. Or we could see if the bigger number, the smaller number can go into it. So let's see. Can 2 go into 8? Well, let's see. 2, 4, 6, 8. It can. So 8 could be our common denominator. So let's put our 8 here, and we're going to keep comparing it, and we're going to put an 8 here. So if you didn't know it was 8, you could have listed out 2, 4, 6, 8, and then listed the multiples of 8, 8, 16, and saw that 8 was common. Okay? All right. So now we have to put their numerators in, and how we do that is whatever we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So because this 8 is the same here, we can keep the same 5 here. So that remains 5/8. But this one, how do we get from a 2 to an 8? Well, 2 times what gives me 8? 2 times 4 gives me 8. So whatever I do to the bottom, I do to the top. 1 times 4 is 4. All right, now we can see what's bigger. Is 5/8 bigger or 4/8? Well, 5 is more than 4. So that means that Buddy the Elf uses more spaghetti in his famous spaghetti syrup meal. Good to know. We need to buy more spaghetti than we do syrup. All right. So pretty much we're just doing everything we did yesterday, but adding the one step of comparing it. So if you got yesterday's lesson, you are going to cruise through today's lesson. And then tomorrow I'm going to show you an even easier way to do it. But we're going to learn this way today. So we're learning with the common denominator method. So let's try example number 1. If we had 5/12 and we're going to compare it to 1/2. All right. So let's look at, we have to start by giving them a common denominator because 12 and 2 are not the same number. Okay, so let's draw up our thing. We have a space to put a common denominator. So once again, we could list all their multiples. We could times them together, or we could see if the smaller number goes into the bigger number. Well, let's see, can 2 go into 12? Well, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, it can. So let's just use 12. All right, we put 12 down here. And because this is already a 12, we can keep that same number. Okay. All right, and then we have to think, how did 2 get to 12? 2 times what get us 12? Well, 2 times 6 gets you 12. Whatever you do to the bottom, do to the top. 1 times 6 is 6. So what's greater, 5/12 or 1/2? We can see that 5 is less than 6, so 6 is greater. So ultimately, 1/2 is greater. Awesome. Okay, so it's really important that on your thing, you don't say 6/12 is greater because 6/12 wasn't in the original problem, but 1/2 was in the original problem, okay? Let's try another one. Let's do example number 2. Okay, we have 9/10 compared to 1/2. All right, so we start, 10 and 2 aren't the same, so we're going to give them a common denominator. So let's think. Can 2 go into 10? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. It can, so let's just use 10. It's so convenient when that happens. So because this is 10 and that's 10, we can keep the same 9. All right, so we need to find the numerator for this one. So 2 times what gives us 10? We think, and we know that 2 times 5 gives us 10. Whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. 1 times 5 is 5. Okay, so now we can do this easier. What's bigger, 9/10 or 5/10? 9 is bigger than 5, so 9/10 is the bigger number or the bigger fraction. Awesome. Okay, let us do one more and we'll do your 2 pause problems for the day. All right, example number 3. We have 2/5 compared to 1/8. Okay, and 5 and 8 aren't the same, so we're going to already set it up for a common denominator. Okay, this one's a little bit harder because can 5 go into 8? It can't. So we could do it 2 ways on this one. We can list the multiples of 5 and list the multiples of 8, or we could do 8 times 5. So for this one, I'm just going to do the multiples of 5 and 8. So 5, we have 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40. Okay? Actually, on this one, it might just be easier to times 8 times 5 together. But I'm just going to do it because I'm already here. Multiples: 8, 16, 24, 32, 40. So you see that the first multiple they have in common is 40. But you also could have known that by just doing 5 times 8 and saying, oh, 5 times 8 is 40. And putting that there, okay? So either way is great. Now we have to put in the numerators. So 5 times what gives us 40? Well, we just learned 5 times 8. So whatever you do to the bottom, do to the top. Okay, what is 2 times 8? Well, 2 times 8 is 16. Beautiful. All right, 8 times what gives us 40? Well, we just learned that 8 times 5 gives us 40. Whatever we do to the bottom, do to the top. 1 times 5 is 5. What's bigger, 16 over 40 or 15 over 40? Well, 16 is bigger. So 2/5 is bigger than 1/8. Awesome. Okay, let's try a pause problem for you. Okay. All right, pause problem number 1. All right, you guys try this one. You have 1/2 compared to 4/6. Give it a go. Pause it, give it a try. But I'm going to keep going. All right. I can see that they don't have a common denominator, so I'm going to give them 1. So can 2, the smaller number, go into the bigger number? 2 go into 6? Well, 2, 4, 6. It can. Oh, this will be easier. So let's give them a common denominator of 6. So because this 6 is the same, we can keep the 4. All right. 2 times what gives us the 6? Well, 2 times 3. Whatever I do to the bottom, do to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So what's bigger, 3/6 or 4/6? Well, 4 is bigger than 3, so 4/6 is the greater number. I hope you got it. Let's try one more pause problem today. All right, pause problem number 2. We have 8/10 compared to 3/8. All right, give it a go. I'm going to keep going now. Okay. All right, let's do it. So we have to give 8 and 10 a common denominator. So can 8 go into 10? It can't. So I'm going to do the easier step in my opinion. Rather than listing all the multiples for each of them, I'm just going to do 8 times 10. And 8 times 10 is 80. Oh, I almost wrote 88, sorry. 80 and 80. I know that they both can go into it because we just times them by each other. All right, so let's get the numerators. So 10 times what gives you 80? 8. Whatever you do to the bottom, do to the top. 8 times 8 is 64. All right, now let's do this side. 8. How did 8 get to 80? 8 times what? 8 times 10. Whatever you do to the bottom, do to the top. 10 times 3 is 30. What's greater, 64 over 80 or 30 over 80? Well, 64 is bigger than 30, so 8/10 is greater. All right, I hope you got it right. I hope you have the happiest of holidays, and every day is a holiday when we do math. Bye.